So we are doing 3 or 4 different things with the trim. The trickiest thing is going to be to trim out the slide, because we have this 2-inch kind of platform that we have to trim out. And there's really no easy way to do it, so you just kind of have to get creative and just figure something out that you think will look good. So to trim the stage of the slide, we are going to use this 2 1/4 inch window trim that's kind of beveled. And then we're going to use this 1-inch corner cap. And then to do that, we had to make the floor flush with the stage right here. So we're going to just put the trim, the window trim like this. And then we're going to put the corner cap on top of that. So it'll end up looking something like this. I think it's going to look pretty nice. We also debated using some of this like textured kind of stuff, but we decided we like the cleaner, flatter look of this. And then of course we're going to paint all the trim gray. So that's what we're doing for the stage of the slides. For other areas, like around these cabinets, specifically in the kitchen and the bathroom, we are just going to use some gray caulk around it because the cuts here are real nice and tight. So we're just going to go ahead and caulk those. The bathroom and around this cabinetry is also the stuff that would be kind of the most difficult to trim because it's not exactly square and there's some awkward cuts. So we're just going to caulk that out with gray caulk. We can paint it afterwards if it's not the right kind of gray, but I think that'll look nice. And then for everything else, we are going to use this trim. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's a 1/4 inch trim. It's kind of rounded. It's flat on one side, and then the edges are kind of rounded off. And we are going to use this in 2 different ways. In the front of the RV, we have about a 1/4 inch gap between the wall and the flooring. And because of that, we are going to have to lay the trim flat like this in order to cover that gap. You know, this is just the way it happened, that we happen to have this 1/4 inch on both sides. And it's only in the front of the RV that we have that gap. But that's just how it worked out when we laid the floor and how we chose our starting line. You know, we could maybe try and sneak in a thin strip of flooring here, but I think that would be very difficult. So we're just going to do this. And then in the other parts of the RV where the flooring is pretty much flush with the wall, we're going to put the molding like this. So that's that. I think it's going to look really nice. We're going to cut all the pieces and then we're going to prime them and paint them. All the trim's going to be gray. And then we'll get those in. We noticed that the bed was kind of scraping up the floor right here. So when we put the slide out, it kind of puts too much pressure right here. It didn't really cut it, it just kind of left a little bit of a mark. So we went ahead and put those like sticky felt things that you would put on the bottom of like dining room chairs. We went ahead and just lifted up the bed just enough so we could slide these in there. And hopefully that will fix that. So we got the trim done on our big slide, and I think it looks really good. I'm really happy with how it turned out. You know, I think it looks great. The trim, the window trim, comes down just above the floor. It's perfect, so you can't see underneath there. In the corner cap on top covers the edge of the flooring just barely. I think it worked out nice. We ended up caulking all around the back of the slide because this is the only part of it that's going to show. So we figured we would just caulk it so we don't really have to deal with it. And once we have the table in here, you'll never really even see that. That bolt was covered. We're just going to leave it because once the table's in, you won't see it. And then I also laid the trim in the front of the RV. That was really easy. It was just a couple strips. I think it's looking really nice, and I'm really excited. Can't wait to get the rest of it trimmed out. So I have no experience with this sort of thing, so Lindsay's dad helped me out, and he did all of the cutting and most of the measuring. I just kind of watched and kind of approved what he was doing, and I attacked everything in with the nail gun. But the corners were the hardest part, especially with the corner cap. It was hard to cut the corner cap to make it flush because the window trim underneath it is actually beveled. So that was a little tricky. Especially back here, there's a inside corner behind the couch. That was really tricky. And you know, Mark spent a lot of time on that. Ended up getting it perfect, but now you can't even see it because of the couch. But it's there, and it looks good. We ended up caulking in the bathroom. I think it looks pretty good. I tried doing it last night and just kind of got frustrated. I wasn't very good at it, so Mark kind of came in and cleaned it up for me. So I think it looks pretty good. The caulk we used is this DAP Dynaflex 230. It's just kind of an all-around caulk for windows, door, and trim sealant, and all sorts of things. I think it's working quite well, and we went with a gray color. There's quite a few different colors. There was like white, gray, tan, black, maybe a couple others. But I think it's working out nice, and I think it's after just like 15 minutes it's ready to paint, so it's pretty good. I finally finished the trim and all the caulking, and it's looking really nice. Mark helped me in the front of the RV with the trim. It looks really nice, did a really good job. I was kind of nervous about that, but he did a good job teaching me, and I was able to do all the cutting and measuring myself for the back half of the RV. And it all looks really nice. There's still a lot of touch-up that needs to be done, but we'll just take an afternoon doing that, and then everything will be done. It's coming along.